We also have a lot of big new features coming out this patch, and we're actually stretching mid-season over 3 patches this season. So 4.13, 4.14, and 4.15 are all going to have some extra new stuff that a normal patch wouldn't have, and there's going to be some surprises along the way.
Okay, so 4.13
Isso é patch note.
Right, and we'll see as we get into that then. So we should start off with the balance and go. First of all, Project Olympus is the first thing we're going to
Vou aumentar um pouquinho o áudio deles, tá bom?
It's better for us to go to a video that we prepared a little bit earlier.
É? Ok. Mudanças que vão chegar ao SMITE.
Project Olympus will be focusing on a number of big changes that SMITE fans have wanted for a long time. In this update, you're going to see changes to the Wisdom tab, the way you can queue, the way you can progress in the game, and a few more changes.
So a really cool feature coming in called multi-queue. Players can actually join the party or join solo, select all the matches they want to play. So if they want to play Conquest, Arena, or Siege, and they just don't know which one.
Vai ter um novo sistema de matchmaking, ok? Ele vai poder selecionar todos os modos para poder entrar na fila e vai poder cair numa fila aleatória, ok? Novo sistema de conquistas ali, prestígio. Não, não é novo, não é entre aspas novo matchmaking, né? A forma que calcula o matchmaking que a gente vai ver. Não quero cair com novato.
We have DirectX 11 support, we have screen resolution scaling, we have a whole bunch of other features that'll make SMITE look really crisp, really clean, including an HD texture DLC pack that you can download to make all the textures in the game really, really clean. So the Wisdom tab is actually going to be getting a big update in 4.13 and throughout Project Olympus. First things first is actually now called the Learn tab, so players clearly understand this is the place where they go to learn SMITE. We have a whole bunch of updated short 30-second clips that will teach you about basic mechanics.
Ok, tutoriais estão ali de volta, é isso?
So with the mid-season patch, one of the things we wanted
Mudança no cerco.
on our siege mode. We've gone back and improved the art on the siege map with a focus on the trees. So now players will notice that the map will load faster and perform better.
With Project Olympus, actually have a whole bunch of rank changes coming out as well that are going to improve quality.
Mudanças na ranqueada.
A ban phase that is going to be there to help players kind of plan what they want to pick and ban. We also have a new leaderboard update that will actually show the points that you've earned so that players can better understand where they are in the leaderboard and how the leaderboard works. And last but not least for this round of changes, we have the gifting of fantasy points. If you're a player who has a whole bunch of fantasy points accrued, or you just want to be nice to another player who was maybe a good sport, who really helped out the team, you can actually gift some of your fantasy points at the end of the match lobby through just clicking a button. Simple as that.
As we continue to update SMITE, we want to make sure we improve the game in ways that you can enjoy both inside of a match and outside of a match. And we're really excited for this set of features.
So I'm super excited for you guys to get your hands on it, and I'll see you guys on the battleground. To follow along with all the Project Olympus updates, head over to olympus.smitegame.com.
And there we go, a nice little look at Project Olympus.
Oh, yeah.
An early look too. And is all that starting in this patch, or is it going to be over the next couple of patches?
Ages não começou agora.
But not everything listed in that video is going to be in 4.13.
Okay.
Ranked is going to be in 4.14, so the multi-queue coming a little later. A lot of
Vamos ver de fato essas mudanças, né? Só teve um pequeno trailer ali sobre as mudanças que virão, mas não empolgou muito não.
And then on top of that, the high resolution texture pack is also going to be involved in this.
Yep.
As well as the resolution scaling.
Beleza, vai ter mudança na resolução de escala, o que vai ajudar bastante, é o que a gente estava pedindo para o SMITE. Ok, vai poder mexer na resolução de escala. E aí, Olimp, vamos? Fala aí, Romulo, a gente está fazendo patch note. Ok, vai poder mudar a resolução de escala. Muita gente vai poder jogar.
So just go into your video settings, you should be able to change anything, mess around, see what works best for you.
Ok, é um ponto positivo.
But the prestige levels, you can now hit 160 is the highest level.
All the way up from, yeah, we went from 30 all the way to 160. And as you heard in that video, everyone's been earning experience the entire time. So people are going to automatically adjust when this patch comes out.
Now, rumor is there's not many players who are max level.
There's very few, under 100 that will be already max level, but most of us will be grinding a bit for it.
Vai mudar o sistema de level também.
That's crazy. I heard
Salve, Dragon.
There's some on PlayStation 4 who have actually already hit that.
Oh yeah, yeah, there are, yeah.
Absolutely crazy. Next up is the Wisdom tab. Just to mention that again, you're going to see that turn to the Learn tab.
Correct. And we're going to start off with tutorial videos. There's going to be a whole new set of tutorial videos, better teach you the game modes and roles, and then soon we'll be expanding that to a fully searchable glossary and even some more ways to learn the game.
Okay. Well, next up on the list of things to talk about this patch is going to be the triumphant chests.
Oh yeah.
Now, before you panic, I've made sure these are not your typical high-res chests.
That's true.
Because these are free, technically.
So what triumphant chests are is a new win of the day kind of feature. So what you're going to be able to do is win up to 4 matches each week. That's going to give you 4 chests, and you're going to run. There's 4 tiers.
Vai ter um novo sistema de baú que você vai habilitar conforme você vai ganhando com os personagens.
As you win the matches, you'll be able to earn these chests, and you'll be able to get.
Agora o que vem dentro deles eu não sei, tá?
So these are really just added right on top of everything else. You're still going to get your login bonus. You're still
Ok,
going to get
vem
your win of
emotes.
the day favor, but you can also earn up to 4 chests a week that you can get really cool things from, specifically
Fantasy
the
points,
team boosters
pode
that
pegar
are
um
hard to
boost de
find,
fantasy
some
points.
emotes, avatars, and even an exclusive special skin.
Vou jogar na resolução de escala 10%,
Which
é
is actually part of
sacanagem.
this patch that's exclusive skin, which we'll get to later on.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Just so you guys know at home as well, one of those skins will be involved in that. But let's have a little look at the Triumphant chest system then. And obviously you're going to be able to get as many, as you just play the game, you're going to unlock these chests and get better items.
Yep, just keep playing and get up to 4 chests a week. Just keep going.
Awesome. Next on the list is a couple of miscellaneous changes for you. We fixed an issue where God walking effects could
Se você vencer 20 partidas, você ganha Sirius Preview. Eu pensei numa forma parecida, né? Mas era uma questão de você jogar partidas contra adversários para ganhar baús, né? Mas eles colocaram um sistema de conquista, ok. Pelo menos vai influenciar, vai incentivar as pessoas a jogarem mais.
Yes.
Good job.
Get his name right. At least, well, you don't have to cast him this week. You're lucky, but
get his character right. Get his actual abilities right. Get his text right, and then we can talk.
Typos.
Right? Yeah.
I'm gonna blame it on fish.
Yeah. And on to map balance next. And first of all, before we get on to Conquest, which I know a lot of you be asking about soon, we do have some changes to Clash and Joust. And I want to ask you first of all, AJ, what the main focus of the changes to those game modes are?
So just make some small changes to Clash and Joust. Really, you end up in these situations where your build feels really far ahead of your player level. Or
Resolução de escala é o quanto você consegue ver na sua frente, o Bolo disse. Quanto mais resolução, mais nítido vai ficar. Quanto menos resolução, mais embaçado vai se tornar o jogo vindo de trás para frente, entendeu? Por exemplo, você vai ver o seu personagem melhor, porém a volta dele vai estar mais embaçado, não vai estar tão nítido assim. Quanto maior a resolução, um todo vai estar melhor, entendeu?
Well, first up is map improvements. We've made the map, made large adjustments to increase the performance in Siege Map.
É tipo uma renderização? É.
So that's just going to improve graphical performance.
All of them are changed to updated tree model using, better art, newer art, and it's going to run better and look better.
The next up is reduce the pre-game time from 90 to 60 seconds.
Salve de Dogotes.
As well as when a controlled siege juggernaut is defeated, the team that defeats one will now gain 75 XP and 100 gold.
Right, so that start was just a little awkward, it just felt too long, so we're fixing that to be more even with the rest of
Vai ajudar bastante o pessoal com PC fraco.
That's a big one, which is when a team kills enough
Porém, né,
juggernaut, the
qualidade
enemy team, when they
vai
defeat it, is going to
ficar
get an XP and gold reward. It's going to really help balance the teams out.
bem
Siege
baixo.
is really the mode where you can capitalize on a lead bigger than any other mode, so really trying to even that out.
Perdeu muita coisa? Não, hein?
On top of that, we're going to see some jungle adjustments with the change the purple buff to a yellow buff. Purple no longer exists.
No, it's in the arena.
Mudanças nos buffs na conquista.
We should probably put move speed there too, maybe.
Tem que mudar o mapa, não os
But now you can have
buffs.
move speed on Siege, let you make that big rotation a lot more.
Should we move arena?
No, we can't do that.
Why not?
A lot of people like arena.
Bug fixes as well. On top of that, with the purple and yellow movement speed change, we've increased the Wild Juggernaut's health max scaling by 20%.
Yeah.
The Wild Juggernaut now regenerates health over time when unleashed.
He was really easy to ninja kill, just steal real quickly, especially a hunter or a basic attack assassin, so fixing that a little bit. And he had some weird kind of leashing rules, so we're equalizing that.
Amanhã vai ter live do campeonato. Eu vou tentar fazer live, vai ser amanhã 9 horas da manhã. Eu não sei se vai dar.
Fix an issue where Holy's Ricochet could become stuck in one of the side lanes.
Yeah, it was there. It was one from Twitter. Thank you for pointing that out to me.
I thought that was just a Hoyi bug, and I was like, why is that Hoyi?
No, it was specifically on Siege Map, one
just
wall.
For that.
Yeah, it was strange.
Time to move now to the main game mode, which is Conquest.
Oh yeah.
At least a lot of people's viewpoint is it's Conquest. Overall season goals, you said them at the start of the year. What is the main aim of this patch at the mid-season point with these Conquest changes you're looking at?
So we've seen a lot of really unique strategies develop around Conquest. Season 4 Conquest has been really interesting in that we changed the jungle timers and we're seeing a whole variety of new starts now, especially from the pro players.
Sure.
Now an issue we've run into so far this early season is that the pro teams are handling this change a lot better than everybody else. So we're trying to make a bunch of targeted changes this patch to make sure that Conquest is not as much of a runaway game. You're going to have to take a little bit more objectives to get that lead. It's going to be a little tougher to get ahead on the enemy team.
Okay, so let's go through the changes. I apologize for my head, by the way, which is profusely sweating. It's really.
Eles estão falando sobre as mudanças na conquista, de como ela está sendo jogada atualmente e tudo mais. Só que eu quero ver mudanças estruturais no mapa. O mapa ele é muito aberto. Ele tem que ser mais fechado e eu acho que a distância entre a jungle e as lanes tem que ser maior.
So just a small little change.
Yeah, and this can actually have some big impacts. It can really let you make some new decisions. You may be a little more careful when you try to steal it if the team's on the way. Or as a defending team, you can hear that happened and you can change your strategy on the fly.
That is because the all lane minions are now going to be at 30 seconds.
This is
all
the big
lane
one.
minions.
Oi, Vitor Collin. Tem que baixar e jogar, cara. Exclamação ajudar, galera, se vocês quiserem aumentar ali nossa meta pro sorteio.
Right, so it's going to
So when was it spawning?
Second wave.
It was always second wave?
Second wave and then every 3. So now it's going to be third in every 3.
Wait, so it was second wave then every 3 after.
Yeah, that's
now it's 3, 3, 3.
Right, now it's a little easier, and that tougher wave that could really push into the tower a little bit more is going to be a little bit delayed, so you have time to equalize out levels if your opponent got a better start.
Okay, now in the jungle as well, we're going to see a lot of change to jungle in terms of experience here. What was the main goal?
Sim, eu acho que o mapa tem que ter seu tamanho aumentado, o tamanho da jungle.
Contested, so the ones that both teams have to fight over, and
Com
just
certeza.
decrease the experience value. We really found that experience change is what causes that bad feeling of snowball, where at gold advantage you can really play a lot of different ways.
Okay.
But experience is really tough to come back against. We're taking that down.
So, jungle adjustments. Fire elementals. We've decreased the experience reward from 30 to 20. We've increased the health of these from 90 to 160. They're the baby fire elementals. The elder elemental has also had a decrease in experience. Its reward is now going to be 80. It used to be 105. The oracle is the next up, and that's going to have an experience reduction from 85 to 65. Mini cyclopses, which are the babies either side of the buff camp, they're going to have a health increase from 90 to 160. Mid harpies are going to have an experience reward increase from 55 to 58, ever so slightly, and go for your experience decrease from 100 plus 10 per minute to 50 plus 5 per minute.
Right.
So a lot of experience reduction in a lot of areas.
Right.
And health scale.
Yeah, big changes here are minis are getting a little tankier.
Ok, eles estão falando sobre a mudança nos monstros da selva. Falando sobre monstros da selva, eu acho que é muito fácil você matar monstros da selva no SMITE. Eu já joguei outros MOBAs e eu acho que é muito difícil você matar monstros da selva nos outros MOBAs, mas no SMITE é muito fácil. Eu acho que se tivesse uma dificuldade também maior de se derrotar os monstros da selva, seria muito mais interessante. Eles estão falando de mudanças de HP em XP e Gold nos monstros da selva ali. Mas acho que também deveriam mudar a forma que se mata os monstros da selva, ser mais difíceis de se derrotar. A live começou há muito tempo, falei Raio Moraes, 40 minutos.
You're going to need to prioritize your comps that can really push towers if you want to do that quickly.
And here you go then. The towers are going up, and the tier 2 tower is going to increase health from 2,000 to 2,500. We've also increased the health of a Phoenix from 2,000 to 3,000. We've also increased the respawn health of the Phoenix. It was 5%. It's actually going to respawn. It's gone from 5% to 25% there. And on top of that, the max health from a Phoenix when it respawns was 40%, it's now going to be 70% as well.
Yeah, so really those Phoenixes.
Eles estão falando sobre a mudança nas estruturas do mapa. Vai ser aumentado o HP da torre e da Fênix, o que eu acho certo. A torre, além de ter o aumento no HP da torre. Boa noite, André. Eu acho que a torre deveria levar menos dano à distância e mais dano de personagens melee. Porque aí dificultaria a facilidade de personagens rangers de derrubar uma torre, né? Então, quanto mais distante da torre você tiver, menos dano você daria nela, e quanto mais perto você tiver, mais dano ou dano normal você daria na torre. Eu acho que deveria ter essa mudança, mas não vai ter. Mas eles vão mexer no HP, então vai ser pelo menos interessante.
From the top, Aegis Amulet, the first one on the list, it's no longer going to cleanse roots and slows.
Right.
Same cooldown still. The Aegis upgrade will no longer cleanse roots or slows either, so nothing's changed with Aegis other than it's actually getting nerfed.
Correct. So as I said, Aegis and Beads are the 2 exceptions. I said there was a couple exceptions.
Sure.
Aegis and Beads are just going to get that cooldown reduction. They're not going to get any new effects.
Not 2 seconds.
Nothing special. Nothing that people in the community might have thought was going to happen. So they're just going to get that, and we're actually going to nerf Aegis here.
Next on the list is Blink Rune. Now, Blink Rune at the base is going to decrease the cooldown from 120 seconds to 100.
Eles estão falando sobre as relíquias, galera. Eles não vão mostrar na tela as mudanças, então fica bem difícil de falar sobre as mudanças na relíquia para vocês. Mas na hora que a gente tiver o patch note escrito, a gente vai poder discutir essas mudanças aí das relíquias. Mas eles estão mexendo nas relíquias, falando aí sobre as mudanças na relíquia. Não, galera, não é dano aumentado, entendeu? Eu tô falando que o dano melee deveria ser 1 na torre e o dano ranged deveria ser menor, entendeu? Porque o dano ranged, ele é muito mais fácil de você aplicar na estrutura do que o dano melee. Porque o dano melee você tem que se expor por ficar debaixo da torre. O dano ranged não. O cara pode ir pra fora da torre e ficar te pokeando, depois voltar, ficar te pokeando. Então eu acho que deveria ser diminuído o dano à distância na torre, não aumentado o dano melee. Sim, o dano melee ser maior do que o dano à distância, entendeu? Manja de inglês? Não.
And the upgrade will be increase the cooldown of this item to 120 seconds of the upgraded bracelet we're doing, but it will give you those 3 seconds on all abilities currently in cooldown. So you will want to upgrade this to get that effect.
If you really want to use it aggressively, you're going to need to upgrade that. Sure. Or, I mean, you can use the health, I guess, percent aggressively as well, but that cooldown reduction is really what let players make really huge plays really early in the game. It's going to be a lot harder to do now.
Next up on the list is Cursed Ankh, and that's going to have decreased healing reduction from 65% to 50%. We've also increased the cooldown from 100 seconds to 120 seconds, but there is a new effect. Enemies affected by Cursed Ankh have their mana costs increased by 20% and have the cooldowns of abilities fired while afflicted increased by 2 seconds.
So this is the curse upgrade.
Mudanças interessantes nas relíquias aqui. Aparentemente o Anka agora vai aumentar a regeneração de mana e redução de intervalo das skills. Vai ser interessante quando a gente tiver esse patch note todo escrito para poder olhar as mudanças nas relíquias. Mas eles estão fazendo muitas mudanças nas relíquias aqui. Também acho que os deuses debaixo da torre deveriam ter um buff de defesa, ô André. Digo mais, não um buff de defesa. Acho que os personagens debaixo da torre deveriam receber um escudo da própria torre, entendeu? A torre desce um escudo para eles. Tornaria o jogo mais difícil. Sirius, tu tem cara de depressão, muito obrigado, cara, sempre quis ter. Você está gostando? Mais ou menos.
And if you get hit by some of the other slowing relics, you're going to get hit by other debuffs as well that this doesn't directly cover.
Gotcha. So now slow immune if you use Heavenly Wings, and in the upgraded version of this, allies are affected by the Heavenly Wings upgrade, and now also slow immune. Obviously we had that already, but the cooldown has increased from 110 to 140 seconds in the upgrade.
Right, and cooldown's going back up because this is a very powerful effect now, because you can now give your entire team AoE Fatalis effect with
Valeu, Killer Hellfire. Muito obrigado. Obrigado pelo like, obrigado pelo teu like.
This one wasn't picked up too much. We'll see if it gets picked up now because is this just on the base, the upgraded version? The base is staying the same.
The base is staying the same.
The upgrade is going to go from 90 seconds to 130 seconds.
Match the base.
But the new effect is enemies afflicted by horrific emblem deal
20% less damage
all targets while afflicted.
Yeah, they're just going to be significantly weakened. And even if they sprint or speed up or use any sort of cleanses, they're still going to be afflicted by just dealing less damage.
Gotcha. So the idea of some of these relics is like they have the original effects which can be counted or not counted, but there's maybe other effects that can still be applied.
Yeah, and they're unique in their ways that we have some similar relic effects we've always had, but these are kind of different ways to apply it.
Sure.
Old times we used to have Shell, you could put this kind of effect on your team to take less damage. Now we can reward people who can actually dive into the enemy comp.
Eu não acho que deveria dar escudo, senão o povo ia morar debaixo da torre. Não. Debaixo da torre você recebe menos XP. Então essa é a diferença. Se você fica debaixo da torre, você recebe menos XP. Você vai upar mais devagar. Consequentemente você vai ficar levels atrás do adversário. Seu farm vai ficar menor. Então acho justo a torre dar um escudo sim para os aliados, porque é um elemento a mais que torna o jogo mais difícil e competitivo. Porque você tendo uma torre que dá um escudo para os aliados, valoriza a teamfight. Seja a teamfight que acontece num objetivo no mapa, na jungle, ou na lane, ou até mesmo debaixo da torre, entendeu? Então vai fazer com que as pessoas saiam da zona de conforto e busquem melhores estratégias para o jogo funcionar. Eu acho que deveria ser assim, porque hoje em dia você tem uma torre onde 10 minutos de partida entram 3 adversários debaixo dela e te matam. É muito fácil o inimigo entrar debaixo da sua torre hoje em dia e te matar, entendeu? Por quê? Uma, porque os personagens estão desbalanceados, estão muito fortes. Outra, porque a torre não dá tanto dano assim. E outra, porque você não tem como se defender. Eu acho que ela deveria dar defesa assim, um escudo ou coisa do tipo. Porque é muito fácil, 10 minutos de partida, alguém entrar debaixo da torre e te matar.
Correct.
Cool. So after 3 seconds, they're not going to be still there.
No.
Cool.
Short
You can't
duration.
stack them with multiple or anything like that.
No.
Okay. Whew.
This effect cannot be stacked, only refreshed, and is short duration.
Next up is Meditation Cloak upgrade. With the base staying the same, but the upgrade is we're going to remove the HP5 and MP5 buff from
Not
this.
a very exciting upgrade.
Nope. But the new effect is applies a buff to yourself and allies hit for 5 seconds that causes mana cost to be decreased by 30% and have the cooldowns of abilities fired while with this buff decreased by a second. So it's a second of cooldowns while using meditation and as well the decreased mana cost.
Fizeram um buff na meditação, vai diminuir o custo de mana em 50% e vai reduzir o intervalo das habilidades durante 5 segundos. Vamos ver como é que vai ficar essa nova meditação. Nova passiva, tá? Ela continua funcionando da forma antiga, mas uma nova passiva para ela também.
Maybe I could have one. I mean, I'm a Florida native, so I handle this heat all right.
I'm not. I'm English.
Tá quente lá.
No. Not where I'm from. It rains.
All right.
All the time. So next up on the list after Meditation Cloak is Phantom Veil. Phantom Veil's been there, not been there, been there. But
eles estão falando sobre as mudanças nas relíquias, ô Alexandre.
The way the relics shaked out in mid-season gave us finally something we've been wanting to do, which is give it a damage mitigation effect. We already had Shell, it was kind of competing with it, but the Ghost Walk Avoid walls really would pair best with reducing the damage that those targets are taking.
Okay.
We had too many relics doing that. So now that we have Shell being very different in the health shield and meditation giving some more utility as opposed to just health, we have Phantom Veil can finally now it has the Ghost Walk, but then upon upgrading it, you're going to get true damage, reduced damage on people who are affected by Phantom.
So just to break it down, the base version of Phantom Veil now, we're not going to have the 40% crowd control and knock-up immunity for allies affected by Phantom Veil. That's been removed. That's all that's changed with the base. The upgraded version, the cooldown has increased to 150 seconds to match the lower start, as well as remove the 40% crowd control knock-up immunity for allies affected by Phantom Veil. But you get a new effect. Allies affected by Phantom Veil now take 15% reduced damage for 5 seconds.
Right.
So compare that to the one that you said,
E aí dá um
20% damage buff.
Será que o jogo vai ficar balanceado depois dessa atualização? Acredito que não. Uma atualização muito grande e muita coisa ainda vai ser testada. Eles estão tentando melhorar o jogo, mas só vai poder balancear ele mesmo depois de vários feedbacks que derem para eles. Então, é uma mudança muito grande no jogo.
New effect, however, on Shield of Thorns upgrade, which is enemies can lifesteal from the user for 50% of their total lifesteal.
Right.
So lifesteal's less effective against people with the Thorns upgrade.
Yeah, so we've tried it in the past.
Eles basicamente estão modificando o jogo quase que inteiro. A mudança nas relíquias, os buffs e tudo mais. Então vai demorar bastante para o pessoal assimilar a nova forma de se usar os itens e ver o que está mais forte e o que precisa ser melhorado.
It's been an
issue since
we discovered how strong it was. It kind of laid low in the game for a long time, I think at a very strong level that wasn't really picked up. But we really wanted to adjust Sunder here, make it feel a little different. So key thing is Sunder feels good to me and to a lot of people we've discussed this with when you target someone early in a fight and use it as a mark, as a way to call it a target.
Quase uma nova season.
It feels really bad.
É uma mid-season, né?
At low health, and you just get hit in the back by it without any way to really react. So new Sunder will only deal % damage of your current health.
Okay.
So you cannot kill people with it.
Okay.
It'll deal less damage the lower health they go. And then the upgrade is going to gain the additional damage taken. So no bonus damage taken on the base and additional on the...
I'll read through it just to help you out.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and read it. But the differences are...
I get you. Change damage dealt from 30 true damage plus 12 damage per god level to 15% of the target's current health.
Right.
We've also removed the debuff that caused the target to take increased damage. Sundering Spear upgrade is now changed damage dealt from 40 true damage plus 14 damage per god level to 15% of the target's current health and increased the damage taken, damage debuff from 15% to 20%. So the upgraded version is going to have a nice debuff on them after the effect. The base version is just going to do a percentage of health. So you can't kill anyone with this.
No, you can use it to
Salve
engage,
perdido
start a fight,
espaço.
can't use it to finish one.
E aí,
Keep that
Jefferson?
effect as well as gain back the debuff on the upgrade.
And the upgrade is where the debuff is going to be now.
Right, no debuff on the base.
It's not free, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to be free. Do you need some more towels?
I mean, I can borrow this
We're
one.
going to be here all night by the sounds of this patch now.
Nah, we're going quick. We're going quick.
Are we?
Yeah, we only got one more relic.
All right, let's get out of this.
We're on to items.
Teleport is the next one on the list, and no longer they're going to be able to teleport towards at the base. It's only going to be to towers. The upgraded version is going to be the one where you can teleport to towers.
Right, so teleport has just been a staple
Sorry, towards.
for a really long time. We wanted to nerf this a little bit. Keep it the core functionality if you really feel like you need it, if you're a little mismatch in the solo lane, if you know your opponent's better than you. But wanted to make it so that solo laners had a little more freedom in their relic choices.
Okay.
So this wasn't a must-have.
Well, we'll see if
So you can't make that super huge rotation to a ward early game
straight
as you
away,
upgrade.
because you're going to have to spend at least 500 gold to do
Right.
it. Okay. Next on the list is, that's relics done. It's on to items now.
Right.
Items.
So we're going to do these a little out of order. We're going to do them a little
Eles
bit
vão
out
falar
of
dos
categories.
itens
Guess what?
agora. Eles
Fatality's
poderiam
dead.
colocar na tela,
It's
pelo
gone.
menos, né?
Spoilers.
Sorry,
Alright.
I got too excited. It's the first one on the list, though.
It is. So we're going to start with Season 4 with the Fatalis changes.
Terá Deus
So this was
novo?
one that we
Acho que
wanted
sim,
to buff
ô,
in the
Júlio.
beginning of Season 4.
So I'm
Because,
just happy. Like, it's finally gone.
well, kind of.
Acho que vai ter Deus novo sim.
So,
Até mesmo
beginning of
porque
Season 4, we
é
wanted to
patch
buff Fatalis
note
with a lot
que
of
todo mundo tá
major
aguardando,
diseases,
né?
took a lot of nerfs and we're struggling at that point, and
Sure.
the basic attack assassins have kind of struggled for a long time.
Okay.
Unfortunately, along this buff, the hunters came in and completely abused the item.
Yeah, they did.
Yes. So, instead of the item, Hasten Fatalist, is actually dead and gone.
Right.
But it's going to be replaced by a couple new items.
Okay.
We're going to have the Hastened Katana, which is going to be a more powerful
E aí, Miss
version,
Gamer?
only available to melee physical characters, assassins and warriors.
Which
as-
is basically fatal.
Which is basically Fatalis. It's
Okay.
going to give you same stat, very similar stats, except a little bit stronger, and the true Fatalis effect. And we're also going to have the Hastened Ring, which is going to be added to the ring tree only for mages, so the mage ADCs can use that. And it's going to have a time limited on an internal cooldown haste
We'll get
Fatalis
through it.
effect, which we're now calling haste, by the way.
Falaram algo sobre as mudanças nos mapas? Já sim,
So we
André.
have the haste effect on both of these items, but only available to mages and assassins. And then we'll have a third item
tarde,
that gives
Sander.
them to hunters that gives them a stacking movement speed, but not as strong as the actual reduction of movement penalty.
Okay, so Hastened Katana for you guys at home is going to build off the 1,000-fold blade. It's going to be worth 2,400 gold. It'll give you 10% movement speed, 25 physical power, 25 attack speed, and the Fatalis effect, or the haste effect as we call it now. Hitting an enemy god with a basic attack grants haste for 1 second, causing you to be immune from basic attack movement penalty. That's the melee version, just so you know.
Melee.
Melee only. And then Hasten Ring, which is a magical version. It builds off the Enchanted Ring. 2,300 gold, 50 magical power, 25% attack speed, 7% movement speed, and the passive, hitting an enemy god with a basic attack, grants haste for 4 seconds, causing you to be immune from basic attack movement penalty for the duration, but it does have an internal cooldown of 30 seconds.
Right, so every 30 seconds you get 4 seconds of haste. This pairs really well with Chronos and Freya's stims.
Eu acho que não vai ter mais Fatalis.
So you can't
Mas
do
eu não
every
entendi
single
direito.
instance.
Acho que não vai ter mais Fatalis, mas o efeito dela vai ser aplicado em alguns itens.
It will be effective. That's Hasten Ring, and we'll move on next to Hunter's Bow is next on the list here.
Right.
Hunter's Bow.
Tier 2. Just a connection to the new bow.
Gotcha. I was like, okay.
Just to build off short bow into a new line, because it only has tier 2s and OD bow, which have very unique passive.
Gotcha. So these are all new items we're going through.
This
right
is
now.
new, yeah.
Sorry, I apologize for that. Hunter's Bow. It's going to build off the short bow. It's going to be worth 1,200 gold. It's going to be plus 10 physical power and 20% attack speed
Right.
on this tier 2. But there's something that's going to build off the top of that. It's really
Yes, this is the one that hunters are going to get.
Which is that spelled right?
Yeah, Atalanta.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Atlanta.
She's a famous Amazonian huntress in Greek lore.
Super famous. Super famous.
Yeah, she's a very skilled archer.
Atalanta's Bow. I'm just so happy about words to say on broadcast.
Yeah.
Builds of the Hunter's Bow. It's worth 2,300 gold. It's going to have 30 physical power, 20%.
E Leonardo Thiago perdeu bastante coisa, cara. Novo God, Jesus, não vai ter Jesus,
by
cara.
7% per stack, stacks up to 4 times, and stacks last 2 seconds.
Right, so it's a short duration movement speed buff that stacks up to 4 times. Every time you hit a target, this isn't gods only, it's any target, you're going to build up this base movement speed that you can then use in any way.
Okay.
So this is going to remove your effectiveness a lot while you're constantly firing basics, but you could actually use this to more quickly weave in between sets of attacks or
E eu tava
even to
preguiçoso,
rotate or use
beleza?
some abilities, but you will not be getting the true haste effect anymore as a hunter.
That could even be bought on assassins and things like that as well.
And that is the best part about it.
Yeah.
Yes, that the assassins, the basic attack assassins that really need some help from item customization, can also pick this up and stack it with new haste.
With the new haste, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Next up on the list of new items is an item called Toxic Blade. What's the main aim of this item, first of all? It's toxic, so...
Yeah, so you get a little bit of an idea what it might do. But we had the Witchblade change in Season 4, which kind of added...
E Guilherme dos Anjos perdeu bastante coisa, cara.
Slightly different priorities made it tough to really buff that item.
Fala sobre mudanças nos mapas, mudanças nas relíquias, agora tá falando sobre mudanças nos itens.
As well, some changes. It's going to be the attack speed aura, and the new Toxic Blade is going to have the stacking anti-heals.
And here we go. Toxic Blade is going to be 2,200 gold. It's going to be 100 health, 10 movement speed, 20% attack speed, 10 penetration, and enemies hit by your basic attacks gain a stack of 20% reduced healing, stacking up to 3 times, and stacks last for 5 seconds. So it is a potential viable item.
Nossa senhora, fizeram uma espada envenenada aí, uma, sei lá como é que vai chamar isso. E aí você vai reduzir a cura dos inimigos, vai dar attack speed, vai dar penetração.
Yeah, completely redesigned that we listed it in the new items. It's very different.
So it's so different. So just read it out and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, builds of the Enchanted Ring is going to be 2,200 gold, 60 magical power, 10% movement speed, and the passive, dealing 100 damage to enemy gods, gives you a stack. At 50 stacks, Shaman's Ring evolves, gaining a new passive that allows the wearer to deal an additional 10% damage to targets hit by the wearer's abilities.
Yeah, so this is a
very in-game now.
Right, so
it's very loud, but I can hear it.
Yeah, the in-game audio is quite loud. So
like
as Paul
ok, né? Temos anel que se estaca agora e que dá dano adicional.
Okay. Changed. So we have a new feature in this patch called evolving items. Evolving items are... We had a couple in the game already. We're giving them better art treatment. You'll see that soon. And we're giving a couple new ones, and we'll continue to make some more. These are items that, when you complete the stacks, you get a much larger bonus than you do per stack.
Okay.
So Shaman's Ring is this first new one. After getting, he has to deal 50k player damage to get the full stacks, which he did quite easy, but it actually takes quite a while in a real game. And after he gets that, now he gets this new passive where his first ability hitting a target is going to apply a mark debuff to them, which marks which god it is.
Okay.
And that Odin now will always take increased damage from Scylla for the next 5 seconds.
So you can't multiple stack those on the same target?
You cannot, no one god can have multiple players, and you can't even stack or refresh it on the same player. It's always hit them to apply it, then you have the 5 seconds to do more damage, then it's going to drop off. If you keep hitting them, it's not going to refresh that. You're going to have this kind of 5 seconds really time to push when you combo. So the other thing that's interesting about Shaman's Ring is we put movement speed on it as well, which players will see when they see the entire ring tree. We
dá poder, movimento
the ring tree a little
speed
bit, so 2 of them more attack
e
speed
dá
focused,
dano
2 of them are
adicional
more movement speed focused, just to switch to allow a lot of the immobile mages to enjoy them as well.
de 10%, como se fosse ceifador, só que
evolved there as well.
Yeah.
The icon changed when he got all of those.
So the evolution ones, I think we'll touch on.
Right.
não é buff na Scylla. Não é buff na Scylla. É item, tá?
Well, I'm sorry.
Vikings, man, I can't help.
I can't change the name of this mythological character for you.
But yeah, basically that's what's going to happen here is with Rangadar's mask, it's going to have a new passive.
Yeah, so it's very similar to the old passive, but we had kind of adjusted the amount of buffs and the amount of stacks it takes to stack.
Which is going to be new passive. Each time you get an assist, you gain a stack.
Esse item dá movimento speed, dá poder e você marca inimigo e na próxima habilidade dá dano adicional de 10. É tipo ceifador de almas, só que para personagens que combam. Tipo, imagina você jogar uma poça do Poseidon e depois lançar Kraken, tá ligado? É basicamente isso. E aí vai ativar esse 10% a mais de dano ali.
Oh yeah. This is a good one.
Are these still new items? Or
no, we're on to balance now. First one is ranked as balance.
And the next one is Frostbound Hammer. Ranged basic attacks now apply a 20% movement speed slow. Melee basic attacks with Frostbound Hammer will still slow for the original 30%. So it's a nerf to range. Really.
Nerfed Hunter's Frostbound. And we have
it's not taken away completely so everyone doesn't complain.
Diminuíram o slow que vai dar no ataque básico à distância no martelo congelante, pelo que eu entendi. Mas o melee continua, tá? Não, Sirius, é tipo Thunder. Sua próxima habilidade vai dar 10% de dano no adversário, ou apenas mais um. Vai ter vídeo sobre as mudanças futuramente, sim. Já tá.
Bomber's Mask. There's been a lot of talk about Bomber's Mask and like how many we see in games and how many we should see.
Pelo que eu entendi, aquele item lá você acerta o adversário com habilidade Ele fica marcado e a próxima habilidade já 10% de dano nele.
But you're right. A lot of people were picking up Bum's Mask more rolls than you would think.
Yeah.
So we wanted to bring it down just a little bit, specifically in the amount of healing you get from it, the sustain from it. It's something that the junglers will be clearing a lot of camps. They don't need the sustain per camp as much, but this might discourage some of the classes that take longer to kill jungle camps, going to take a lot more damage. Might discourage them from getting it as often.
Okay, so we decreased the healing from defeating a jungle monster from 15% to 10% is the only change there. So 5% decrease in the amount of healing you get from the jungle enemy camp, basically.
Right.
Okay. Bancroft's Talon is next on the list.
Yes, Bancroft's nerf. Bumba's nerf.
Oh, you
Bancroft's
nerf Bancroft's? I'm really surprised by that.
Frostbound nerf. Bancroft's nerf. Bumba's nerf. I mean...
Bancroft's nerf is going to be cost is actually increased from 2,300 to 2,400 gold, and the reduced base lifesteal has come down from 20% to 15% on the item.
Just a little overtuned item.
Next on the list.
Essa season vai favorecer que tipo de classe? Tem que ver como é que vai influenciar o jogo essas mudanças. São muitas mudanças, isso vai demorar para
giving mages a bunch of new options.
He's
giving mages some new options with the new mobility rings, so just wanted
que
to
nerfaram a Bumba.
Take it down a notch.
There's no one in the venue, by the way. I just want you to hear this through. There's no one here. They're pretending they've got an audience right now. It makes me feel good about myself because I hope we get an audience.
A marca que o God fica e concede 10% de dano extra por 5 segundos é 10% de dano extra que você der ataque básico ou habilidade no adversário. É o que eu falei.
Right, so this is a complete redesign of Celestial Legion health.
Yeah.
So new passive, out of combat. After you're out of combat, you'll quickly start gaining stacks of physical
Bancroft foi nerfada.
As you take instances of physical protection, that'll drop off bit by bit.
Okay.
And we get a lot of talk about crit
O cachorro tá
protection.
latindo por causa das
Good physical protection items are the best defense against crit. So this you'll be able to get an exceeding amount of it.
We'll see how well it works out with that too. Vampiric Shroud is next on the list, and Vampiric Shroud we've not seen for quite a while. Pompon. That's how in habit.
Pompon's here in spirit.
Poor Pompon, he's in the back. But one thing we do have is we've actually got at the same time, like we've not seen much Vampiric Shroud. We've seen a lot of Soul Stones. We've seen a lot of Sands of Time.
Right.
No Vamp Shrouds. We're looking at trying to bring it back, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So they all those mage items have very clear roles, and unfortunately, Vamp Shroud kind of fell.
Valeu, Natália. Muito obrigado por ter utilizado o aplicativo. Ele é muito bom, Paladins Amino. Estou seguindo lá, galera. Depois vamos todos brincar no chat. E aí, Lucas, beleza? Hip Freya? Esse novo anel aí é pra Freya, meu amigo. 60 de dano, 10% de movimento. Após acertar o inimigo com sua habilidade, o seu ataque básico ou habilidade tem 10% de dano extra nos próximos 5 segundos nele. Imagina a Freya pulsando aquela 2 no cara com esse novo anel. Aquele novo anel polinômico e cajado etéreo, se eles não modificarem o cajado etéreo. Tipo, vai ser burst. A Freya vai explodir, cara.
That's how many you get.
Salve, Michael.
Good on the burst option for the abilities there, and a little bit more survival.
And that physical protection is very strong early game.
Oh, I can imagine. Like some lanes, could see that back in the solo lane for some of the Guardians. We'll see. Ancient Blade is next on the list. That's going to have an additional, so it's going to added 50 health to this item, as well as decrease the attack speed from 10% to 5% in Adventurer's Blade.
Vai jogar Smite hoje?
Right.
And then Adventurer's Blade, we've decreased the health from 150 to 100 and removed the 10% attack speed.
Right, so really what we're doing here is you're going to see this.
Se ativar a 1 e a 2 da Freya fica com mais dano? Sim. Porém, ela não dá o slow. Mas o cara mostrou que não buffa se for a mesma skill. Ué, mas a Freya pode buffar 1 e depois a 2, cara. É o ataque básico.
Yeah, I'm actually talking. What's up?
Hunters.
I heard you.
Everybody can hear you.
Yeah, I heard you missed me. You mistook AJ for me.
I thought.
Hi, Pon.
I thought I was only hearing you.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good back here. I'm getting ready for some of the god balance.
Você não precisa dar vários ataques básicos com a Freya. Vai ser tipo o burst do novo anel com o burst do polinômico com o burst do cajado etéreo, entendeu? Então vai pegar 10% adicional aqui, mais 60% do seu ataque básico no polinômico, mais 10%, 5% do cajado etéreo. Então vai ser muito forte. Já jogou Crossout? Já sim.
Okay, well we mentioned this earlier on about Witchblade changes because AJ was already here to talk about that.
O item estoca só com habilidades. O ataque 2 da Freya é considerado como habilidade, o Pro Gamer. E funciona com o ataque básico também, o dano adicional. Dá 10% de dano adicional no ataque básico também.
We've removed the passive that stacks healing reduction debuff onto the new items.
Right, so you're going to see some change stats here to make this item a little more effective towards characters that actually want a basic attack. Okay. So this is a really good, strong counter item.
Batalha
if you're a warrior wanting to counter an enemy hunter or another warrior that needs to rely on basic attacks, or even a hunter versus hunter.
E Everton perdeu bastante coisa, cara.
Interesting ways.
Okay. Wingblade is next up, and all we've done to Wingblade is remove 10% attack speed.
Yeah, slight nerf to Wingblade. That attack speed wasn't super critical. The item is still extremely powerful. That passive is amazing. So,
essa nova atualização não sabemos se vai ser na próxima semana ou vão ser... Vai ser outro momento, tá?
So Relic Dagger really just kind of spices up the passive, keeping the theme of the item alive, but we're changing the passive from percent reduction to a
Acho que os personagens do Smite deveriam ter mais HP, os Judogods. O dobro não, mas ter mais HP eles deveriam.
So for you guys, it supports really cool combos to use with those AoE relics.
Just so you know, for the Relic Dagger, it's going to be 1,850 gold. We've increased the health from 200 to 250. We've removed 10% attack speed, and the new passive, your relics receive.
E aí, Michael Batista faz uma build Nox. Quando lançar essa nova atualização, eu vou refazer as builds. Agora não faz sentido fazer builds mais, porque vai pro PTS, talvez. Porque vai mudar muita coisa. Vai vir novo build mais gameplay.
Demonic Grip increased magical power from 60 to 65, decreased attack speed from 20% to 15%, added 7% movement speed.
Right.
Telkine's Ring decreased cost from 2,800 to 2,700, decreased magical power from 80 to 70, added 10% movement speed, reduced 20% attack speed. New passive, every time you deal damage with an ability, you gain a stack of 20 power up to a maximum.
Eu vou refazer a build de todos os personagens. Vai demorar um pouco, mas eu vou refazer.
Right. Previously it was an attack speed item. This is part of the split. You're going to see Telkines and Shamans on the ability side. They're going to have power and movement speed and ability related effects. And you're going to see Demonic Grip and... I'm blanking on the other one right now. But on the other side with more
Sim, o Smite tem um servidor de testes, o Felipe Gabriel.
With that Telkines, next up is Enchanted Ring, decreased the cost from 1,400 to 1,200, removed 15% attack speed, added 5% movement speed, an Emerald Ring as well, decreased cost from 650 to 600, removed 5% attack speed, and added 3% more movement speed. I'm just checking the battery's about to die on this. I can see it going. The laptop's dying too.
Well, then we'll be in
just like the heat. It'll be fun. Emerald Druidstone decreased cost from 700 to 600, increased the magical protections from 10 to 20, decreased the magical power from 20 to 10. Bloodstone decreased the cost from 1450 to 1350, decreased magical power from 30 to 20.
Os caras estão cozinhando, velho. Eles vão sair com os órgãos todos cozidos, cara.
On this one, it's big changes here.
Yeah, so
tá vindo o torresmo do gordo, cara.
Gonna make it a little bit better for Guardians.
A little bit tankier?
Yeah, a little bit less
magical power. O gordo tá dando
a little
torresmo,
bit less
cara.
magical power and a little more health, so Guardians can buy
Nada contra os gordos, tá bom? É brincadeira.
So, Voidstone will be 2,150 in gold now instead of 2,200. We've also decreased the magical power from 40 to 20.
Hi, O'Haler.
150 health to this item. Next on the list is going to be Genji's Guard. We've increased the MP5 from 20 to 40. That's a lot of MP5 there, as well as added 150 health and increased the passive cooldown reduction from 2 seconds to 3 seconds.
Yeah, really just turning this one up a notch. It's got some cool passive that was seeing a little bit of use that people could really use well when they timed it right. Just turning all the knobs up. It needs a little bit of a power boost, and we're also adding health to it, which is a little strange for this is the pure magical protection tree. We're adding some health to that because magical protection is a little less effective in a lot of forms in the game. It can be paired with health a little bit more safely. Physical protection, we still want to be very careful with that.
Oni Hunter's Garb is next up, and this is going to get some health.
Galera, só fazer uma propaganda aqui, não sei se vocês sabem, mas a gente tem um esquema de sorteios aqui no canal e tá 2 de 50 ali. Quando a gente atingir 50 a gente vai fazer um sorteio. Então, quem quiser ajudar, exclamação ajudar. Ah, esse cara tá possuído,
This is very similar to Genji's. You got the passive increased, you got the cooldown decreased, you got health added.
Yep. That doesn't sound exciting.
Voltando ao assunto. Exclamação ajudar, quem estiver assistindo aí e quiser ajudar, pra gente ter um sorteio.
Tank items
é isso.
and bring them up into a viable state.
Aí segue as instruções que tem aí no exclamação ajudar pra gente ter um sorteio, tá? Tem link novo lá, quem participou da passada pode participar dessa nova aí. Valeu, Alisson, beleza?
It will be posted right after the patch.
But as soon as this ends, we will go over all that. That's all the items for now that are going to be changing. We do have some God balance as well. And
Ele tá muito louco, cara.
So we'll go through God balance first of all. And we'll start off at the top. How many gods is the change? Quite a few?
Yeah.
Did Pon write this, by the way?
Pon did.
All right, we'll see.
Well, I wrote it with him. I think they're in alphabetical, but we rearranged some things on purpose, all right? We wanted to put them more categorically. Ao Kwang, I guess is the first one to really talk about. Ao Kwang's the first one. He's been struggling a bit. We haven't seen him too much.
Well,
Oh, o cara falou sobre o sistema de lobbies. Não escreva em caps lock, o bot tira a mensagem.
And changed some and added some, and that was received really well. So we're doing that with Ao Kwang.
Okay.
His passive right now wasn't so much as it was weak as it was just very awkward, very strange. It didn't follow a lot of the normal rules in Smite. He had to sheath his sword before he gains the charges, which didn't directly coincide with combat, and he could accidentally break that, and then he would only get it on a couple abilities, and he'd have to disengage for a really long time. So we're just doing away with that and giving a brand new passive where he's going to gain permanent stacks of magical power and magical lifesteal.
Valeu, Rodrigo Sainz. Muito obrigado, cara.
In his dragon form.
Okay, so the first thing to mention then is going to be his base stats on Ao Kwang. We're going to increase the mana from 200 to 240, increase the mana per level from 36 to 38, increased MP5 from 4.5 to 4.8, and increased MP5 per level from 0.2 to 0.41. And as AJ just mentioned there, the new passive King Sword, each time Ao Kwang successfully uses his dragon form to execute an enemy god, he gains a stack that increases his magical power and lifesteal. It stacks up to 3 times, and stacks are permanent.
Quando o Ao Kwang executar um inimigo, ele vai ganhar stack, aumentando o poder e lifesteal. Fala aí, Iago Maia. São as mudanças nos personagens. Fala aí, Sidney Silva, beleza? Sim, depois eu vou fazer um resumo, até mesmo porque não tem muita coisa escrita. Acabei de me inscrever, Sirius. Fala aí, Iago Maia, muito obrigado. O que é a premiação do sorteio? Primeiro vamos atingir a meta, depois a gente vai ver a premiação. Porque não sei quantas pessoas vão ajudar. Então.
Yeah, I like this one. I could almost fit on a tweet.
So, eat minion. Large monsters that can only be eaten at 33% will provide 2 minions towards regurgitate. So we're talking about buffs, basically. Buffs and fire elemental. Big fire elemental?
Yes.
Okay.
And so oracles.
And they're going to give you 2 stacks.
And oracles. And they're going to give you 2 minions towards your alt.
Okay. And then on top of that, regurgitate. Decrease the cooldown from 90 seconds to scaling. It's going to start at 90 seconds and go all the way down to 70 seconds at max rank.
Right. So those minions in his ultimate are definitely underrated. They can do a lot.
Gordinho tá na metalúrgica.
And now that he can get more than them, he doesn't have
Essa parada de ajudar tá tudo em inglês.
He doesn't have to feel like he has to roam around and really fill that up. You'll be able to do it a lot.
É só baixar o jogo do link aí e abrir ele por uma vez, cara. Fica de boa.
That is correct.
How have you guys found Bologna so far this split right now? Like these changes, obviously, she's getting a couple of nerfs here first of all, so don't panic.
Getting some nerfs.
But is it a lot of nerfs or is it?
Sabe o nome dos dois aí da live?
Just a little bit of nerfs, just to really focus
Hinduman
on
e o Jax. Hinduman.
Bologna and Osiris.
Acabou de passar, depois você perguntar.
Osiris is not seeing any nerfs this patch.
Okay.
Bologna and Osiris are both.
E aí, Mistério, resumão, tivemos nerfs e buffs agora tá acontecendo, mudanças nos itens, mudanças nos mapas, mudanças no HUD, na interface do jogo, um monte de coisa.
Very, very rarely are they the changing factor in their game. So Bologna has been always consistently higher than Osiris, even in very high ranked and in the SPL. We've seen Osiris having lower win rates and Bologna being the best. So Bologna is getting that slight nerf first. We'll continue to keep a close eye on Osiris. There's a lot of item changes, a lot of meta changes. We'll keep an eye on him, but it's important to note that Osiris is a god that is especially popular amongst pros, and oftentimes he falls completely out of the game for a long time. He only received some minor damage buffs, and then people also started noticing him. We think there's a bit of a combination effect in that his raw power is not as high as a lot of people are saying.
So the change for Bologna.
Vai ter nesse novo patch muitas coisas, Josué. Mudanças grandes no jogo.
And as well, bludgeon, it was at 10 seconds. Per swing, it's now going to scale. It's going to start at 14 and scale down to 10.
Right, so rank 1 bludgeon, you're going to have a lot more time in between bludgeons. That ability is surprisingly powerful early game. And that base power is actually going to hit her bludgeon because she hits multiple minions with that. You're going to get the damage that she loses is going to add up.
Sure, so it's going to be 14, 13, 12, 11, 10 as you rank that down in cooldown. And then on the list next is going to be Chiron. And you mentioned you're going to do a little bit of a change to Chiron?
Yeah, I did. And I like this one because it's a little bit interesting. We're not just tweaking a number here. We're changing an interaction.
Timão e Pumba. Tá animado com as mudanças? Mais ou menos. Começou faz bastante tempo, já tem 1h18. Na verdade, 1 hora.
Bring back this feeling of comboing well with his abilities. So what we have is now training exercise. If you hit enemies with that, that will apply Chiron's mark.
Oh, really?
Or his masterful shot.
Straight afterwards, you can just fire off a masterful shot.
So now you can 1-2 the whole wave, and you have an extra way to apply this to enemies to really burst them down.
That's a lot. That's going to be very, very impactful. We'll see how that works out for Chiron, though. It's going to be enough to bring in meta. Kronos is next on the list, and we were talking passives. We just changed Ao Kwang, so we're changing Kronos' too.
This is another god that just didn't have a passive. It was kind of hidden and split, but it was really all part of Accelerate.
Sure.
So what we're doing is taking the whole Wheel of Time functionality that's all staying. It's going to just, the text is going to be moved over to Accelerate. That's what it's part of. He's getting a new passive.
So, Accelerate is going to be all in part of itself. The passive is now going to be new passive, Time Lord. All parts of Wheel of Time have been relocated to the Accelerate ability. Kronos becomes empowered as time flows around him. Every 2 minutes, he gains a stack that increases his magical power. Stacks up to 25 times, and stacks are permanent. Magical power per stack is 3. 2 per minute at 25 stacks means that you're looking at 50
minutes. So this is, it takes a very long time to fully stack, but it is 75 power in the absolute late game, and we want to kind of solidify Kronos' role as a late game powerhouse.
Sure.
He's just going to gain this power passively over time.
Like you literally are on a clock when you're playing against him now.
Literally on a clock.
Otherwise you're in trouble.
So thematic and fits his kit.
Perfect. And obviously Accelerate description changed to include all the details of the Wheel of Time. This ability still functions exactly the same as it did before, so no changes to Kronos, just additions to Kronos.
Correct.
If anything, it's a power buff.
Correct.
Overall.
A passiva original do Kronos aparentemente continua existindo na habilidade 2, porém ele vai receber uma nova passiva onde ele vai ganhar poder por stack e é permanente. Ele vai ganhar 3 de poder por stack, se eu não entendi errado, e o stack vai até 50.
Yeah, this was just kind of a weak passive. God's great, so really wanted to get rid of the feels bad moments.
Caraca,
stacking at MP5 and HP5 wasn't very impressive, and losing it all the time was also not very impressive.
So it's 10 CDR once you get 10 stacks.
So now you're going to keep it and
até 50, cara, eu entendi errado, não é possível.
Finally finish off the stacks.
Falei se ou é até 5.
É
5 ou 50, eu entendi errado, cara.
Keeps all that per stack, and now you won't be able to lose that on death.
Awesome. Oh.
Alguém entendeu aí? Eu não entendi se é 5 ou 50.
I love the memes people make. Keep photoshopping kids.
Well, I don't know. If you keep buffing him, then eventually he'll become a meme for a different reason.
But yeah, well, whatever. It'll still be fun.
Buffs for Cousin Bell.
Acho que é 50. 25. Não entendi. Tá baixo pra mim aqui. É 25. O pessoal falou é 25. Meu retorno tá baixo. É 25. Então é metade. Mas é bastante poder, cara.
Within the Subo Slam, as well as the cooldown has been reduced. It used to be 16
seconds. 25.
16 down to 12 seconds.
É 25, o pessoal tá falando ali, ó.
Water Regrave, the ultimate, we've adjusted the knock-up for this ability. Targets will now be knocked up into the air more and
eu não entendi nada, mas falei 25.
So it's going to be a consistent knock-up potential, but not moving as much.
Yeah, so Kuzumbo is a real wild card on team. He can do a lot of disruption, but it feels a little random sometimes. It feels a little uncontrolled, really bringing him to have more disruption more often.
Os Nenecapas agora dão slow, é isso mesmo. Deveria dar, né? Igual os monstros mesmo.
Allowing to see function. Next on the list is going to be Naja. I don't know anything about this change.
Oh, this is a hype one.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
I'll read out. Wind Fire Wheels. Enemies hit by Wind Fire Wheels now have additional 0.25 seconds after the hit to use Purification Beads and avoid the ability. This matches the current animation more accurately.
Right.
Enemies hit by Naja will not be able to fire beads on their way up into the air. If you miss the window to escape, you will have your beads protected to be used later.
Right.
It's about time.
Well, it's a more complicated issue than it's.
É isso que eu entendi. Inimigos que forem atingidos pela habilidade do Nizar não vai poder usar purificação durante 2 segundos.
You can still beads during that.
Quem entende inglês aí me ajuda.
Once you're already in the air, and there's at this point, beads will not help you. There's nothing you can do. It's a complete waste. We're actually going to silence your beads very shortly, temporarily, so you don't get that issue. So if you find yourself ulted by
Como vai se tocar a passiva do Kronos? Matando o minion, eu acho.
Can we have another ring toss bounce on for me?
Acho que o inimigo não vai poder usar purificação em 2 segundos, então você vai poder acertar o ult do Nizar se você conectar habilidades rápidas. Não sei.
So maybe a little nerf is okay.
Next on the list is going to be Nemesis. A couple of rebalancing ideas around this now. Swift Vengeance increased the scaling from 50% to 60%. 25 per hit to 30% per hit.
Yeah, that's the double dash.
Yes, on the double dash there. Slice and dice increase base damage.
Acho que é meio justo pro Nizar, porque muitas pessoas usavam purificação e não tomava a ultimate dele, né? Acho que agora é meio justo.
We've reduced the slow from 30 scaling up to 50, is going to be 30 flat. So it's a damage increase.
Não, mas o Nizar vai ficar forte, cara, porque se você jogar o anel e chicotear na galerinha durante a teamfight, você pode jogar ali um Xinjiang bolado rodando no meio da galera, um Ares combando ali, tipo...
This is really that
vai dar uns combos legal, cara.
Okay.
She is really, really good at just absolutely removing somebody from the fight. We wanted her to have more consistent power, not just an absolute extreme uncounterable burst of it.
Okay.
So she's going to get more damage on her dash and slice and dice, allowing her to clear the jungle better, just let her roam and poke better, but we're going to have to bring the ultimate down a little bit.
E aí, Scan... Ah, não, achei que era Scan. É o Bololi. Desculpa. Falei Bololi.
This is a spicy one, too. Yeah.
So what exactly is the plan with the clay minions? Well, you can see it on screen.
This ability
Que
has
isso,
effectively
cara?
a completely new design added to it. So you have a new targeter attached to the ability that you may choose to mark a specific targets that clay minions will pursue.
Ela vai marcar para os minions ir lá.
Have to choose that though. You may fire at any
Nossa, é um grande buff no ar, cara.
When it's not marking that Odin, you get that extra element.
Okay.
So this ability
Eu não tô
effectively can be used
acreditando.
exactly as you always have, if you want to.
So you just let it go and it'll
Finalmente,
If you want to
cara.
prioritize a specific target, you may now mark them and the minions will chase them indefinitely until they die.
Interesting. So they'll actually just lock onto that one
Finalmente.
target.
They will. So if you use this...
What about line of sight with that?
Os minions vão
I'm
deixar
just
de
gonna
ser
push you into issues if you
burros,
don't know.
cara.
Pon, can you fire it? No, you can't fire it around walls.
Gotcha. But what if he... Oh, okay. If they run off, it's
Or you can fire it where you might have been blocked in your spawn radius.
I think it was more I was asking about, like, if they go around a wall in the jungle, will the minions still try and chase
The minions will chase
Na
that
verdade, eles
target.
continuam sendo burros, né? Não há
Once
que
they've
manda
chased
eles
them,
ir
they'll
lá.
keep chasing them. And as soon as
A
they
little
die...
bit Calder-esque, yeah?
Yes, very much more like Calder. He is a much... You know, we
Ah,
have some,
finalmente.
very different opinions every time we use AI in the game, and especially when you're having so much control over your gods in Smite, like we did with Calder, made him more controllable, doing the same here.
Now the other thing to mention as well, just to make sure.
Nossa, no Ana Solo vai destruir, cara.
Dash through other targets, debuffing them.
Anotem aí, no Ana Solo vai explodir
Right, so if I
qualquer
mark the
personagem.
back of the wave, they'll charge through
the
hit
minions.
that too. And
So
same with
actually-
gods, they'll dash through. They don't deal damage on that dash though. That dash is a debuff.
And what's the debuff?
It's a magical protection debuff.
I got a 3 on the point there because I don't see it there. That's what I was
Yeah, so
oh,
what
okay.
this is really what allows you to mark under gods
Será,
in
Renan?
a heated battle, because they could get really stopped up on things. Another common complaint of having Nuwa before is if there's a lot of targets around and I'm still fighting a god, I can't use the minions because they just attack the closest minion or do something.
But now
I
you
want
can
them
fix
to.
that.
Será que você pode marcar personagens
Or the minions can
invisíveis?
dash through them, right?
E
to
aí,
them.
Derek,
I'd
beleza?
like to see if that's a really
Yeah.
big buff.
I
and see
think
how
I
well
think
she
it has a
does
lot of potential to make a Nuwa very powerful.
Talking about buffs, Raijin,
Oh yeah,
is he alive?
he is soon going to be.
He is. So you're doing a lot of changes to Raijin this patch, and it's going to be. Is there anything actually getting fully? Is it a full rework? What exactly is going on?
I wouldn't call this a full rework. I'd call this more of
Mudança no
a heavy
Raijin.
balancing, a lot like we did with Hades, Hell, things like that. He's getting a new passive that's going to give him bonus cooldown reduction as opposed to more burst damage, and he's seeing a lot of changes to his numbers and the way his abilities fire across the board.
Salve,
The goal
Eliabe.
here is to watch out for their frustration factor in battling against Raijin.
Okay.
Back when Raijin was very powerful, before he had to receive many nerfs, was he felt very uncounterable. He was able to do an insane amount of damage to you very quickly. So we're trying to look at his kit and really separate his utility from his damage to make you make the choice, as well as make his damage take a little bit longer to absolutely unload.
Well, while Pompon shows you on the screen a little bit of him dancing around, I'll quickly read out some of the stuff. The passive, for every 5 abilities cast, Raijin reduces the cooldown of all abilities currently on cooldown, including the one just cast, by 1 second.
Right.
And on top of that, Percussive Storm, which is the one, I believe. What we've done with this, we've adjusted the first 2 shots to now travel down the center of the targeter, and adjusted the last 2 shots to be closer to
Vai
the
mudar o
center
meu
of the
Susano? Não sei,
targeter.
cara.
We've increased the shot radius from 3 to 4.5, and we've also increased the range from 65 to 70. On top of that, it's also going to have a damage increase. It used to be 25 to 85 per shot. It's now going to be 35 to 95 per shot. And decrease the scaling from 30% to 25% per shot. And decrease the
Alexander,
cost from
beleza?
80 to
Beijo.
is now going to be 50 to 70.
A lot of changes.
And then Raiju now deals its damage over time.
Maybe we shouldn't even read all of them. There's so
I'm gonna
many.
die.
Nossa!
I'll speed read it
Or
now,
you
guys.
can skip the numbers and just say the increase decrease maybe.
Alright, cool. Increase the damage on
E aí,
Raiju
Marlon,
from
vai dar
a
corrente
flat
igual os
16 to
Zeus,
now
cara.
A dot damage, I guess, is the best way to
Right,
put
and
it.
this was part of that burst. So now you can see these.
Só que vai dando dano
Yeah, they're all dotted,
por
so it takes a little
pulso.
bit longer for Raiju to get that damage out.
Vai
Now
dando
reduces
dano,
the scaling from a
tipo,
flat
por
70%
tique.
to 13% every 0.5 seconds. Now applies a 15% slow to
merda,
lock
hein?
targets as well
Right.
with Raiju.
More utility.
So it's got a little bit more utility in this, and the cooldowns come down quite a bit as well on this. Obviously, you'll see this in the full patch notes too. Apologies for this. Thunder Crash is now targetable until he fades away to his new
Nossa, a área do...
location.
Right, so that whole warm up now he
A
can still
área
get
da
damage.
3 dele
Really?
tá
Yes.
bizarra.
But the window seems very small.
It is small, but it really prevents him from getting that really quick kind of counter effect where
Lol.
he could go right through things, and it used to look like you were hitting him, right?
It did,
and
it
that
did.
was the most frustrating part. So really getting rid of that frustration.
And finally, the ultimate, the Taiko drums, have improved the sound. Oh, interesting. So it's different. The drums are a little
drum
bit
beats,
clearer
yeah.
for the drum beats. Okay.
And the visual effects is the biggest difference.
Well, the
Ah, mudaram o
projectile speed
visual,
reduced-
pelo menos, da
reduced from
Ultimate.
120
Agora dá pra saber qual o
to
efeito que tá
1
saindo ali,
Nice.
né?
A little slower.
Sem
A little bit slower.
Harder to
você...
hit.
Increased the fire
Enfim.
duration from 4.5 seconds to 7 seconds. You can say in that ultimate for 7 seconds.
A lot longer.
And we reduced the damage on beat 2, the taunt, and the 3, the fear, from 50% to 30%. So the taunt and the fear are going to do less
Much
damage but
less
more
damage.
control.
Right. Previously, one of the issues that you had frustration with Raijin is he could taunt you 3 times from long range and still do an insane
And kill
amount of
you.
damage.
Yeah.
Now if you want to do the big damage on the skill shot, you really got to focus on that drum beat 1. If you want to do more control, you got to go to 2 and 3, but you're going to lose a lot of damage.
And there's a lot of time for you to be able to hold that ultimate. 7 seconds.
Cara, o Clear Wave dele vai ficar bom, hein?
Immunity ultimate. Potentially move around a little bit slower, obviously, but then, you know, pick those points wisely. With
E o
the
problema
shots.
vai
Still
ser
a good
ficar
time
perto
to kill
dos
him.
minions quando ele estiver
But it
fazendo
does
o
let
Clear
him
Wave.
set up
Você
if he
pode
wants to
tomar
really
uma...
wait for someone to combo to go for the
uma
damage,
corrente
or
ali
if his team
também.
wants to make a call about who he can CC. Both that extra duration really gives him a lot more flexibility there.
Well, there's a little look at
Essa
Raiju,
corrente
obviously,
dando
with
dano
more
por
detail
tique
on
aí
him,
vai
patch
ser
notes as well
tenso.
on the patch notes release straight after this show.
Once you read them, you will be able to see all of the changes. There's a long list of bullet points for him.
Yeah, we're an hour in already. We're stood here, still going.
We're almost
Gostou
there.
do Raijin? Preciso jogar com ele, mas tá melhor do que era antes, né?
Increase the duration of the protection debuff, sorry, buff, I should say, from 3 seconds to 6 seconds. So big buff for Sebek, actually double his passage.
Well, his passive stacks would just fall off very quickly, and a lot of times, especially it was awkward during his ult,
Raijin no
you
duel.
really incentivized
Tem uma
his
mosca aqui,
duration
cara, no
was
seu,
longer
na sua
than
foto.
his
Deixa eu
passive
tirar ela.
buff, so it would fall off while you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Which didn't really make much sense.
Which was awkward.
So now he's just going to be able to keep those protection stacks a lot more easily.
Next on the list is Susano.
Susano agora, hein? Vamos ver.
Susano's going to get a new passive this patch.
Nova passiva.
What's
Yeah.
the reasoning for?
So Susano's been a hotly debated god. He's been all over the place, and he's still giving people a lot of trouble on the battleground.
Okay.
So what we're going to do here with his new passive, Gathering Storm, is going to remove all of that extra mobility. That movement speed, although you might not necessarily feel it immediately, was very powerful.
Obrigado pelo like na
Really good
live.
rotations, it let him juke a lot of abilities, made him just harder to hit. So he's no longer going to get any bonus movement speed. He's already quite mobile.
Salve,
That's
Patrick.
fine. Instead, he's going to build up stacks by dealing damage to gods.
Okay.
And then at the full stacks, his next ability will deal bonus damage. And this is going to have a duration to it, too. So he's just not going to run around fully charged the whole time. He's going to have to use that at a smart time. And it's not going to apply to all of Stormkata's hits. It's only going to apply to one instance of damage. He'll do a little bonus damage. And we're going to nerf Stormkata's damage pretty heavily to go along with that.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
less
Isaac.
mobility and less damage all the time, and damage only at more pinpointed times.
Cool. So just to read over for you guys real quick. Each time Susano successfully deals damage to at least one enemy god with an ability, he gains a stack. At 4 stacks, his next ability that hits an enemy god will deal bonus damage. Stacks
A passiva dele vai ser tipo uma caçadora de coração, só que ele vai ganhar stacks com as habilidades. E a próxima habilidade dele vai dar um dano adicional. E aí, Characo, beleza?
Yeah, 10% per hit. It's
Vamos chegar a
it's pretty big
400?
on his,
Vamos chegar a
there.
400. Exclamação ajudar, galera, pra gente ter o sorteio, hein?
You wanna be a top
Tem
tier
novo jogo aí, quem participou da outra já pode participar dessa.
And what it's basically going to be is the bladed arrow and thrown axe. We've reduced the mana cost from 50 to 70. It's now going to be 50 at all ranks, so
Right,
a small
less
mana
mana.
change there. and expose weakness and invigorate. We've reduced the cooldown from 18 seconds to 16 seconds, as well as the power has changed from 10 to 50. It's now going to be 25 to 45.
Yeah, it's a big change. So that
Early game buff, late
yeah,
game nerf.
yeah, early game buff, late game nerf.
Sim, ele perde o
Exposed
speed,
weakness is now gonna be a little
porém
bit
tem o
more
dano,
wonder.
né?
It's going to actually be useful early game, which is, it really didn't do much. And
Live tá na Twitch também?
Stancers usually have issues
Sim.
with mana, so we took some mana cost down there too, just to make it a little more fun.
So there's a little look so far at what's going to be going on with the patch, but we still got a few.
That
things
is
to
all
talk
of the
about as
balance.
Well. It's all balance done.
That
for
is
the most
it.
part.
Olá, Deus
So
são
next
reais.
up is going to be skins and talking about the Summer of Smite is the next thing on the list.
Summer of
Here.
Smite is here.
What's the plan with Summer of
Esse
Smite?
skin
So
dando lá
Summer
mandando.
Smite is it's going to be
Isso,
very
cara.
similar to a lot of previous Summer Smites. We're going to have a couple of
Ok, tá
features
falando
going on
sobre
there. One thing is that Summer of Smite will have
a Odisseia de Verão, né?
also, like the Egyptian event, free to do quests that'll give you smaller rewards, bonuses.
A Odisseia de
Do those
Verão,
quests
tá,
and
galera? Não
buy the
é a
skins to
Odisseia
choose
mesmo, é o
which
evento
bonus
de
item you
verão.
want. So no puzzles like that event,
Okay.
but you buy a skin, you do a quest, and you get to choose which of the bonus items you want. You don't have to get them in order like old Summers of Smite, and if you buy all the skins, you'll be able to get the rare final skin.
Now I've been told something about Ario. Do you know about this?
About what?
Ario, is it? Aria?
Ario?
I no one's told me what it is. I've just heard it now.
Vai sair quando esse patch? Talvez semana que vem, né?
RTO. Then. I didn't know. I was going to say Ario, RTO.
Oh,
It's a bear!
Yes, okay.
It's a freaking bear. Have we got a bear in the game?
Soon. So as I announced earlier,
So is that
today,
high res soon or is that?
it's going to be in patch 4.14.
Okay. So
RTO,
next-
RTO will be launching in 4.14. She will be a new goddess that can transform.
Teremos
from
skins
druid
baseadas em ursos.
And I'm not going to give away too many more details about her. You can try to infer her class and pantheon from her art, but she is coming along really well. She's really cool, and she transforms.
She looks great for that as well. Now, on top of that as well, just so you guys know at home too, before we carry on with the skins, the Venus bundle is available in Hand of the Gods, and it'll be available for you to pick up the bundle in Hand of the Gods. And if you do so, you'll get the Venus skin in Smite.
Venus Aphrodite skin for
That's-
Smite
Yeah, the
can,
Venus
can
Aphrodite
be attained by buying the Hand of the Gods bundle.
is much better. On top of that, there's a Cousin Bow skin. A new skin, and we should be showing it on card art right
Yeah,
about
let's
now.
get to the summertime. So this is the first Summer of Smite
Woo!
skin. This is Kaijinbo Kuzenbo.
Is that what it's called?
Kaiju.
I'm surprised we called it the Kaiju Bow. So that him versus Sobek is going to be more interesting now.
Isso é só arte, galera. Não foi apresentado nada ainda, não.
Yeah, he's really
Isso daí é
scary.
skin do
Imagine
Cuzeno.
with a stag beetle, that helmet on the front, you know?
Yeah, I think so.
Looks like
I
a
think
stag
Chuck
beetle.
was heavily inspired by that
It
one.
feels that way. I bet Chuck will be like, yeah, Hindu, I did. Or even
Yeah,
though Hindu.
this was a big driving force. Chuck was a big driving force behind this one. He really happy with how this one turned
I
out.
do like the arms as well, the muscles and stuff.
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the best thing about this right now is normally we do patch notes with so many people, and I only really talk about the skins if I like them, and I actually do like that one. So I'm
Well,
talking. That's why I'm like, oh, the
I'm
muscles.
glad you
Vamos ver
like
o que,
it.
que ele vai
It
jogar
turned
nos
out pretty badass,
adversários.
and I'm a
O
big fan
mini
of that.
dele.
Well, now that he
And look at the little Nene Kaijus.
Are they called
Demoninhos.
Kaijus? Are we really going with her?
Yeah, what else would you call
I
them?
have no clue. I want to think of something, but oh, they're so cute.
The Nene Kaijus.
Que isso, caiu a
And they're
qualidade da
featured in
live
his card
deles.
art doing all sorts of mischief, wrecking cars and buildings and stuff.
Lá,
It's
mas
great.
não aqui.
So I love the fact that the Nene Kaiju actually.
Perdeu bastante coisa,
There's
Guga.
the shield spikes for you guys at home too, and then we're gonna have the
Yeah,
Pseudo
and
Slam.
his spikes actually that pop out on the shield spikes are a different shape, more like that kind of curved beetle shapes. It looks really cool.
Okay, we can see what actually we can see Watery Grave. I just thought, is that going to be in the patch for now? We can see it, the actual changes to it.
Yeah, you
Awesome.
will. You'll see the people don't knock as far away. It's more up. There's still a little bit of a way, but it's
But you can still
mostly
juggle
up.
them a little bit better,
You can
I
juggle
guess.
them better.
And put it in that way. Okay, well, so let's have a look at, be honest, see a little bit of an earlier look at Cosmo in game, as well as the skip. He does have a voice pack, I believe. So let's have a little listen to that voice pack. Really?
Aquela do urso era Artio? Não sabemos, aquilo ali era um concept, né?
That's great.
One stop, and you are dead. How do you communicate with a kind
Perdeu bastante coisa o Patrick Reis.
Drop him a line.
Tina.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Tina.
It's all right.
Wish you could be here.
It was on focus. It was on point. It was
It was.
It was good, but it was still bad. It's still cringy.
Right, but it fits the skin very well.
As per usual.
And I like that nice, deep, echoey voice. He actually sounds like a giant monster. It's awesome.
Well, there's a little look at Cousin Bo. Next up on the list is going to be Foxy Lady Dashi.
This is your second Summer of
Skin
Smite
da
skin. There are
Daji.
only 2 Summer of Smite skins in this patch. There will be more in future patches.
So these are actually going to be
Enfim. Até travou a live.
part of the Summer of Smite bundles, right? That you give it
Yes.
together. Cool, awesome. Let's have a look at that in game then, because she looks fantastic there.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the high-res car.
High-res car.
I
We
just
got
saw the high-res
the
car.
Dodgy logo in the background, which you'll see soon. This is kind of along the theme of the Rockabalona.
Yeah.
This is a really cool outfit. The artists really like how this worked with Daji and her
Oh, I like
tails.
the jacket.
Yeah, she looks really cool.
She looks really good in game. I do like everything about the model for the most part. I mean,
Quem já foi bufado ou nerfado? Ah, vários personagens, Hugo Martins.
I'm sure you
oh,
do.
what's that
A
jump?
gente vai ter que pegar o patch
Ooh, those
escrito.
effects are super.
Cara, a qualidade
Fire
deles está
effects.
bem
See the
baixa.
blue
Viu?
Yeah,
to orange there.
Não é aqui, galera. Eu tô em 1080.
Let's go through the abilities. I need to learn these. It's flame hands is what I'm calling this one right now.
Sure.
I'm still learning the ability.
Horrible burns and do.
Flame hands. Flame on is what I'm going to go with that. And then 1,000 cuts of needle death.
You got it.
I just made that up, but I guess I was close.
It's 1,000 cuts.
Saci
Is it really?
Pereira
1,000
mais.
There you go. Sometimes it just osmosis. I get things for osmosis.
Well, we also specifically pick names that are
Okay, next one's
heard of before.
teleport and
Right?
kill.
Specifically, it's a hard one to say.
Teleport and kill.
Teleport and kill? No, that's called Trickster Spirit.
Close
That's a
enough.
trickier one.
Close enough.
Fizeram alguma coisa com o
That one's a bit of a
Vulcano?
stretch.
Não.
Now, giant pole
Aparentemente
of
não.
doom that pulls people to their death better than Ares.
The Powwow.
That's exactly what I said.
That was you were close.
I was really
Look at
on the
it's the neon dodgy
Oh, it's good.
from the card art. It's like a jukebox.
Did I hear? I thought I heard the music. Do that again. I'm gonna shut up now. Go on. That's cool. That is cool. That is
Yeah.
Ok,
that is
uma
great.
jukebox.
And she comes with a voice
Ele
pack as
tocando a
always, so let's
musiquinha.
have a little listening to the new voice pack.
Woohoo! You're such a boss. Right on. I'm a cool cat. Did you just dent my rod? You better bring it, darling. My tail proves that men can focus on 9 things at once. Oh, you're interested. No thanks. Quality only dates quality.
She's too good for you, Hindu.
I believe she's got a dance emote as well.
Oh yeah, new emote. This will of course work on all skins. This is
Oh, he's got it. He's got it. Pom Pom's got it.
He actually, well, we saw him. He got it from the chest.
Oh,
He would have missed it if he didn't have to demo triumphant chests.
I
That is hilarious, actually.
the saves.
Já teve os buffs, ô Silvana. Agora eles estão mostrando
But
as
that's not the only
skins.
skins current in this patch. I believe this is Ordo Aurora Freya.
Correct. So we're outside of Summer Smite now. This is a new Freya skin, alien themed.
And I don't know much information about any of these skins, so you're going to have to help me out a little bit more. She's got new animations and things with this and voice pack too?
Yes.
Awesome. I mean, she looks like she should, but I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure before.
New effects and new voice pack.
She reminds me a little bit of a
Acho que sim, Thiago
Maybe.
Garcia.
I can
That might have
feel
been.
that.
That might have been
I can feel a little bit of it.
a loose inspiration.
I'll be honest, like I can see a little bit of it, that's all.
Just a loose inspiration.
But it looks good. Oh, wow, that sword. Now the sword reminds me of He-Man. If you've ever seen
yeah,
He-Man.
yeah. I'm familiar with that man.
Oh, would it be He-Man? It might be somebody else too.
Uh,
There's another one that I'm thinking of, maybe.
Perhaps.
more accurate.
It's kind of a beam sword too, which is cool. Nice effects.
E aí, obrigado pelo loot.
I think that was just maybe a little bit.
There's nothing wrong with it. I was just saying, like, I was like, oh, she's a little bit more aggressive than usual.
Those spike pulses. She's like shooting the blade of her sword.
That's going to be interesting. I do like the pulsing animations. All right, yeah.
Looks like we have an audio bug there. That'll be fixed.
And the banish. And then this is what I call the ultimate of take to the sky for free and do lots of damage. So I
That's a
cast-
good name. Maybe we'll change it to that.
Thanks,
I like
man.
how she has like a physical cloak. It's pretty cool. Explosions effects are really nice.
Like a hero when she takes it. That's right. Makes sense.
Oh, that's a sweet jump.
the jump is.
That's an
Oh,
S
it's
tier.
nice and slow.
It's an S tier jump.
I don't know. Jing Tens is really high up there.
It's very similar.
Jing Tens
to
and
Chance.
Ares are up there. But yeah, you're right. It's very similar. Let's have a listen to the voice pack for this new Freya skin.
Ok, né?
You're rocking it. Excellent. I guess I'm pretty good.
Agora, o que o Odin está fazendo ali na solo lane, ninguém sabe.
Thanks, Pam.
Come on.
Tem um Odin lá na solo lane, na torre.
What goes faster than the speed of light? Me getting out of there when I first saw your face.
Oh, savage.
Wow. Rude as is. Still a couple more skins to go, and the next one is this is the one in the chest.
This is head over heels Cupid.
Caraca, que
Over here.
It's
cabeção.
kind of a play like when we did Derpules.
I mean, it just looks like Cupid.
Does it now?
Yeah.
Well, his head has been enlarged.
Como faço pra mandar um
About 3
concept pra
times
eles?
the
Tem que entrar em
normal
contato
size.
pelo e-mail deles, eu acho.
Yes, he's the
Miss Game.
reverse of Derpules.
Reverse Derpules.
So this is the one you can get only by getting it for free through the Triumphant Chest, and it's got a unique voice pack.
Let's
to
have
go
a
along with
listen
it.
to this voice pack.
Perdeu bastante coisa, Patrick Monteiro.
I love you. This arrow is aimed at your heart.
Que é isso?
She loves me. She loves me not. Oh yeah. There. She loves me. Have you ever been so in love that you feel like your heart will explode? Do you want to be? Ready or not, here I come.
So basically, Cupid went through puberty, is what you're telling me.
It's Cupid with his big head has a big, deep voice to go along with it.
Oh yeah.
Será que eles vão fazer um Cupido adulto?
Right now, because it's still in development, or are we going into games to see this too? We're not going to games to see this right now because it is still in the final developments, but this will be available in the next pack.
It'll be available in 4.13 through the Triumphant Chests, and we'll
and I guarantee it, we'll tweet about this and show some
videos
about this as soon as
okay.
it's ready.
It's hilarious. It's a first release. It's a great.
I mean, just with the voice alone. I mean,
those of you who thought that Cupid's head was big already, you have not seen anything yet.
Well, next up is Warden Kernanos is on the list.
Tem um Xenonos estranho aqui também, parece um demônio.
He's got a really cool set of wooden armor attached to him.
That is nice.
É um Xenonos de Kryptonita.
Yeah, literally. Like, So this is obviously a tier 2, so the abilities don't really change that much, but we can still see what the Shifter of Sands seasons look like.
Yeah, we can.
Shifter of Sands, I said that.
Shifter, yeah, well, that's close. We have one of those.
I know, that's why I got confused.
I guess they're kind of similar, you know, Beast Man.
I guess to an extent.
Yeah,
Deve ser ao contrário do X, cabeça pequena. Sim, o problema é o corpo, né? Porque tinha cabeçudo.
Other people like the paint.
I don't like green, okay?
I love green's my favorite.
I like
color.
yellow.
How dare you?
Blue.
Yeah.
Blue looks dope.
So you see his fur and his crystals, which is the kind of the new cool feature of this tier 2 is he's got these additional crystalline pieces on his gauntlet and his shoulders and his arms and legs, and those all change colors along with the skin.
That's cool.
As well as just the fur, which the fur is all that changes on his base skin, and then tier 2 you actually get these changes on the armor.
That's cool for a tier 2 as well.
Yeah, it's really
Cannot be upset with that one. Available for you guys.
Salve pra Amanda, noiva do Danko. Acho que não deu pra ler muito pequeno o nick. Mas salve pra Amanda.
In this patch too, and there's a look at the base one.
Ooh, that's a cool card art. I really like that.
Ok, skin de maestria do Kushulain.
It's really calm in the first picture, like, don't mess with me. And then the other one was like, you messed with me.
That's what happens to him.
It's kind of what happens.
Shouldn't have done that.
So there's a look at the base.
Perdeu bastante coisa,
Yeah, it's
Sávio.
nice color scheme. Goes well. I like how we can use the tattoos.
How did he just move that? But this is how Pom-Pom wins games, you know. I swear, he just moves from base to base.
Pom-Pom doesn't change his mind. Come on, he doesn't need to.
Saw nothing. I saw him. I thought he said saw nothing. Spawn bot Olympian. What's he going to do with this? Is he gonna just
I think he's gonna.
Oh, he needs to Hulk out, doesn't he? There we go. This is how he cheats. He goes in the. This is how he gets ahead of the jump all the time.
Oh yeah, he just spawns.
Quanto
You
gold.
see that cascade of golden experience?
Yep. Looks good.
Oh.
Quanto milho. Salve Felipe Gabriel, beleza?
He really is. And that's the base version. We do have two other versions.
Yeah, he's
as well, I
got
believe.
legendary and diamond.
I always like the legendaries. I don't know why. I'm just sold on legendaries.
I mean,
Eu acho que aquele
legendaries
Odin na solo é o Barracuda,
black and
Alexander.
gold
Ele tá tentando levar alguma torre ali, cara.
I'm a fan of the legendary as well.
Pom-Pom's not got his keybind.
Passou muita skin já? Acho que já.
He runs
Passou
out of
umas
enough
4
bindings.
skins.
That's why he has to type some of them. There's only.
That looks good. I like that.
Yeah, that one is cool.
Okay.
I like the black tattoos.
Really nice looking there. Pom-Pom rage out for us.
Parallax. Oh, so by the way, we can see a little example here of the parallax occlusion that we talked about.
Oh,
see
yeah.
how the stones really look like they have depth between the cracks and they really jut out of the floor? That's what that is. So you can turn that on in the new graphics update and see that. And when you turn it off, they'll look a lot flatter.
So make it feel like you're actually a part of the environment. The environment's not separated from the characters in the environment.
Right, so those of you with some higher end computers can really enjoy these extra features.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Thanks for mentioning that one, production too. And finally, the diamond skin for your viewing pleasure.
Very nice.
I like how the tattoo kind of
Vezes
changes
skin pro
along with the
Dumbo.
skin.
They all go so well with his tattoos.
Ganesha
It's really
tá
cool.
esquecido, cara.
Really, really nice on that one too. And I think,
That's it.
do we get
Barracuda farma
That's
até
it. We
no
did
patch
it.
note pra
We
crescer.
aggressively planned.
Sim, esse é o patch da metade da temporada.
Now we do also have a pedestal that I heard about as well, which is part of the Summer of Smite
Que
bundle.
isso, cara?
Yeah.
Que
So
loucura.
we might be able to take a look at that after Pom-Pom rages out and shows the diamond.
There it is. It's a true aquarium.
Oh, that's really
And
cool.
the fish
Ah,
all
teremos
swim
novo
around
pedestal que é
there.
aquário.
It's really cool.
Can you have
Okay.
can you get Kraken in there for us?
I mean,
A little baby Kraken or a little rubber ducky.
that's
what
great.
you need.
That's a great idea. It's a little late now, but you know,
See, this-
Chuck is watching right now. If he can do it, he'll do it.
Listen, Chuck, you're just gonna bring me into these meetings now and they're gonna give
He's
you a little advice.
Yeah.
Chuck does like reducing up his pull side, so
He's probably cursing us right now if he can't do it very easily.
so that's also
Nothing is easy, but
it never is. Not for
Might be
design,
doable.
not for artists anyway. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's always tricky. But that's it now, guys. That's pretty much the patch.
We
Obviously,
did it.
the patch notes the patch notes will be live online momentarily as soon as the stream goes down. Apologies for some of the tech issues, like not having the usual stuff we normally have with the full squad on things, but we're set up for an event.
yeah, and we're really excited about this event.
It should be a lot of fun this weekend. Make sure you tune in for SMITE Valencia. Not just SMITE, we've also got Paladins and Hand of the Gods going on all weekend too. So
É isso aí, galerinha.
and if you are in Spain or in local Europe, get a try.
Esse é o patch note da mid-season que acabou de acontecer diante dos nossos próprios olhos.
Whichever you prefer.
Do you get love?
Sometimes.
Gostaram?
After this patch. With that, that's the end of the show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all tomorrow when DreamHack Valencia is live.
Gostaram, galerinha?